Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Friday, May 23rd, 2025. Hunter here, Weather on the Go. We're tracking severe weather today to end the week, and then severe weather continues through Memorial Day weekend all the way up to Memorial Day. Damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes all in play. Then we're looking at outstanding temperatures as we go into Memorial Day weekend with a warming trend, and then as we go into the long range, we'll talk about the temperature and precipitation trends through late May and into June as well, as some changes are expected. So if you are here, make sure to give a like down below, a thumbs up, and share this video with friends, family, and on social media. I definitely appreciate it. Looking at severe weather across the Front Range into Colorado and down into the central southern plains this afternoon. In fact, there is a slight risk level 2 out of 5 from northeast Colorado, southwestern Nebraska through Kansas, Oklahoma, and all the way down into western Arkansas. And the threat does include potentially some apple-sized hail again today across northeast Colorado, west central Kansas, and northwestern Oklahoma, and those hailstones could cause some damage, so definitely watch out for that. Then looking here at some wind gusts, 60 to 70 mile per hour variety across these areas in yellow, and then we have a low but non-zero chance of tornadoes, a 2% chance across northeastern Colorado, southwest Nebraska, western Kansas, and northern Oklahoma as we go through this evening and into the overnight hours. It's all due to this trough. We have a trough over here in the northeast that's been keeping us cool as of recent. We have a ridge building out of Mexico and into portions of Arizona, New Mexico, and south central Texas. And in between, where we have the differential heating, where cooler air to the northeast, warmer air to the southwest, that is going to create lift for thunderstorms, and we actually could see some severe weather. So here at noon, we are not looking at too much out there on the radar. Maybe some showers, rumbles of thunder further north into South Dakota, eastern Nebraska, down into the Kansas City area. But as we go into the afternoon, much is going to be quiet out there outside of a couple of supercells that may develop in the panhandle of Nebraska and northeastern Colorado. Otherwise, some scattered showers and rumbles of thunder across Iowa, eastern Nebraska, South Dakota, and Missouri. Going into the evening hours overall, looks pretty quiet until after midnight, and that's where the severe weather threat will maximize, will be between midnight and 6 a.m. on your Saturday morning, and that could include damaging winds, 60 to 70 mile per hour, the destructive hail up to apple size we talked about, and a very low threat for tornadoes overall, and that will continue to propagate further south and east, including the flooding threat as well. A lot of these storms going to be moving over the same areas, so flooding will be an issue as we go into Saturday morning. So for Memorial Day weekend, this is Saturday tomorrow, May 24th, we have a slight risk of severe weather from southwestern Missouri all the way down into northwestern Texas. Areas in yellow as 2 out of 5, areas in dark green, that's a 1 out of 5, a generally low end risk for severe weather. Sunday, similar areas, maybe focusing a little bit further down to the south across more of Texas, Oklahoma, and western Arkansas there on Sunday. And then Monday, Memorial Day on May 26th, this is focused more into the Lone Star State of Texas there, including the Abilene area, Dallas, Fort Worth, Tyler, down to College Station there. So we'll be keeping an eye on that going into Memorial Day. So the reason why we're seeing the severe weather over the Memorial Day weekend is we're getting rid of our trough across the northeast. Things will be warming up, but here comes another weak shortwave trough across portions of the Rockies, the southern Rockies in particular. That's going to be moving across the central and southern plains, and that's going to give us enough forcing for some thunderstorms here Saturday afternoon and evening. We have a complex of storms developing there into the central southern plains. So Kansas, Oklahoma, into North Texas, over there into southern Missouri and Arkansas. As we go into Sunday, notice that shifts a little bit further to the south into North Texas, including the DFW Metroplex, Texarkana, all the way over there to Shreveport, Monroe, and Pine Bluffs. And even as far east as Jackson, Mississippi could be seeing some storms. Then going into Memorial Day, that shifts even further south, Waco, College Station, Tyler, Texas, all the way to the Houston area, Lake Charles, and again, Jackson, Mississippi, all included as we go into Monday, Memorial Day. Overall, these areas are going to be seeing multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms going through Memorial Day weekend, so a wet go of it around portions of the central and southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley will lead to the potential of some flooding and some heavy rainfall down here. Some areas could be seeing upwards to 8 to 10 inches of rain in isolated spots, and this could definitely cause runoff into tributary rivers, creeks, streams, low-lying, poor drainage areas. Make sure that you are not driving on any flooded roadways. That that is for sure. And the Weather Prediction Center on Saturday has a slight risk of flooding across southeastern Kansas, northeast Oklahoma into Missouri and Arkansas. They really upped the ante to a moderate risk of flash flooding there into the Tulsa area there in northeast Oklahoma, southwestern portions of Missouri, including Joplin and near Springfield, and then into the Fayetteville and Fort Smith, Arkansas area, northwest Arkansas. As we go into Sunday, that's a moderate risk where widespread flash flooding is possible. And then going into Monday, Memorial Day, it's elongating an area of flash flooding potential from Middle Tennessee near Nashville all the way back down into northeastern Texas, including the Tyler, Texas area again, Pine Bluffs, Tupelo, and all the way over into Huntsville and Florence, Alabama. So we're keeping an eye on that going into Memorial Day itself. So flooding will be an issue in addition to the severe weather threat. Let's talk temperatures. You can see this afternoon, cooler air across the north and the northeast. This is going to be because that trough is hanging around across portions of the northeast, keeping us cool with some cloud cover. We are going to recover our temperatures today with bright sunsplash skies across the upper Midwest. In fact, we're seeing 60s up there into the Twin Cities, into Des Moines, and also northern Illinois as well. Lots of sunshine out my window, and we're definitely seeing some low 70s down here this afternoon. Cooler where we see the trough and cloud cover, precipitation continuing here this weekend into the northeast. In fact, some record low high temperatures into the 40s and 50s across Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York State, and northern Pennsylvania. And then going into Memorial Day weekend, the cooler air will lag behind as that trough very slowly exits the United States. You can see in the green shaded color here, that is 20 degrees below normal or temperature anomalies going through that 72-hour period of Memorial Day weekend. And here's Saturday, tomorrow. We're still seeing cool air across Maine, 40s to low 50s out here. We're back into the 60s, low 70s across the north central U.S. as we go into Saturday and into Sunday. And then look at Monday, folks. If you're wanting the cool air to go away in the northeast, well, you got it on Memorial Day. Perfect into the upper 60s to mid 70s out here. Perfect for barbecuing anything as we go into the later day time frame. And as we go through the final few days of May, big ridge develops across the southern Canadian prairies and the Pacific Northwest, promising warmer than normal temperatures, a trough, at least a weak signal of a trough in the east, and that's where our cooler temperatures will be. So here's the ridge. We got temperatures in Manitoba, for example, 35 degrees above normal up near the Hudson Bay there, northern Ontario included, and then down here across the central and eastern U.S., we have a weak signal for a trough. That could keep us a little bit cooler with some active weather, and that will be around 15 degrees below normal with our temperature anomalies to end the month of May. And here's all the active weather. Texas all the way to the Delmarva region in the mid-Atlantic, we could be seeing potentially above average precipitation going through this period. Driest weather across the Pacific Northwest, the high plains into the northern plains here, into the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes and Northeast. Southern Canadian prairies with the influence of that ridge will also be quite dry. Here's the storm action. It's mainly during the afternoon and evening where it will maximize as we see instability, showers and storms developing here. Maybe some low-end threats for severe weather. That is still too far out to be assessed right now, but something we're keeping an eye on. But with several rounds of showers and storms across the deep south, southeast and mid-Atlantic, you could think that maybe flash flooding may be an issue as we get towards the end of the month of May, as we see very heavy rainfall sprawling out across the deep south, including the Dixie Alley up here into the mid-Atlantic, and we could see multiple inches of rain on the order of 2 to 5 inches, isolated amounts more than that during the last few days of May. Let's talk about June. We have a ridge that we're awaiting that is going to build across the desert southwest, and that is the expectation moving into the first week of June, and that will warm us up across the Rockies, especially the central and western Rockies and the Intermountain West, and then up again across the southern Canadian prairies. So the warmth will be in no short supply, and here's the active weather. The Gulf Coast and Florida, and some of this in early June could be influenced by the tropics across the western Caribbean and the eastern Gulf. So we're going to have to keep close tabs on this. And then as we go through the month of June, over that 30-day period, we're still watching out for the amplification of a southwestern ridge. And that ridge will build in widespread heat. And a couple heat waves that could be intense across the Rockies and the Central Plains will be possible, especially getting closer to the Father's Day weekend time frame and then the second half of June. as the amplification of that ridge really begins to build. And then the precipitation, garden spots for rain here in June will be across the eastern ag belt. We're talking Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, the mid-Atlantic down into the southeast, Florida, where it's been very dry and drought-worthy down here. It's actually going to be getting much wetter, so that will improve our drought conditions. And then the drought conditions will really start to worsen across the plains as we dry out, as we get deeper into the month of June. And the same thing up here in the Pacific Northwest, the drought will intensify and worsen as we go into the month there of June. Thank you all for watching. I definitely appreciate it. If you did like the video, give it a thumbs up down below. If you got any questions about the weather, comment down below as well. And subscribe to the channel for the latest accurate, reliable weather information. And I'll see you all in the next video.